Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving straight into a massive, fundamental shift. We are talking about moving completely away from our modern disposable lifestyle and instead building a self-sustaining system of absolute abundance. And we're going to unpack exactly how to do this by looking at some brilliant permaculture insights from Graham Farrer and Wilf Richards. So picture this. Back in 2012, Graham was living in what you'd call a completely disposable world. You know the drill, right? Broken items just got tossed out. Kitchen scraps went straight into the rubbish. It was like he was pouring money and energy in at the top, only to watch it all literally leak out the bottom. And as Graham himself so perfectly put it, every bag of trash is a lost opportunity. To understand how we actually fix this, we've got to take a hard look at the broken system first. That brings us to section 1, the linear trap. I want you to imagine that 2012 disposable lifestyle as a straight, rigid line. On one end, you have your inputs, and man, that input end just keeps getting more and more expensive. Those inputs turn into products, and then inevitably, they just pile up on the other end as waste. It's a dead end. But what if you could take that exact line and just bend it into a continuous circle? Suddenly, that waste end feeds right back into the beginning. Bam! You've just created a self-sustaining system of abundance.
Making that continuous circle a reality is going to require a massive mindset shift. And that takes us to section 2, designing out the bin.
Think about it like this. Nature simply does not have a trash category. It doesn't exist out in the wild. So waste isn't actually an end product at all. It's really just a resource that hasn't been properly designed into your system yet. By doing a constant input-output analysis, Graham explains how, looking ahead to his systems in 2026, he literally designs out the bin entirely. No more trash can, period. Let's visualize this. Say we're looking at a drone aerial shot of a property. You can see rainwater just running straight off the roof and dumping into the street. Right there, that is a massive energy leak. But if we mentally overlay a new design, we can instantly close the loop. We just draw in a tank and a pipe to catch that runoff, directing it to feed a garden before that valuable energy just washes away. And you know, this whole mindset applies beautifully to our physical goods too. Let's move to section 3, the right to repair.
Okay, let's look at Graham and its workshop. Instead of just letting old hardware end up in a landfill, he's scavenging a perfectly good part out of a clunky old PC to completely fix a newer one. And it's the exact same logic out in the yard. He's taking what most people would call waste, mulch, and transforming it right into a thriving vegetable bed. When you intentionally keep a stock of these scratch materials around, you can build and repair all sorts of things without spending a single penny. It's brilliant.
Which leads us perfectly into section 4, the yield of imagination. This is all about moving from rubbish to resources. Once you start closing these loops, you unlock abundance literally everywhere. Compost starts feeding your gardens, scavenged parts start powering your tech. It even works digitally. You can take high-quality digital waste, like unused content, and repurpose it across different platforms to save yourself hours of future work. You're no longer just a consumer. You instantly transition into being a producer. So how do you actually implement this circular thinking into your daily routine? Let's break it down in section 5, the 3-2-1 action plan. This is a super practical framework that actually walks you backward. We're going to start from filtering your new purchases and work all the way down to finding the immediate bottlenecks in your own personal waste stream. All right, step 3 is what we call the ethical filter, or the waste check. It's pretty simple. Before you buy anything, ask yourself a few questions. First, earth care. Is this thing actually biodegradable, or at least easily repairable? Second, people care. Could I just share surplus tools or food with my neighbors instead of buying more? And finally, fair shares. Am I consciously limiting what I buy to prevent wasteful oversupply?
Moving on to step 2. This is where you apply the produce no waste principle directly to your surroundings. Let's look at your digital space, or zone 0. Try to eliminate just one wasteful output, like unsubscribing from spam mail right at the source. Then, out in zone 1, your physical landscape, challenge yourself to intercept just one physical item this week before it hits the bin. Find a way to reuse it, repair it, or compost it. Just one thing.
And finally, we hit step 1, identifying your immediate yield. You need to find your biggest waste bottleneck, what permaculture folks call your shortest stave. Ask yourself, where are you losing the most? Is it a mountain of food scraps? Is it endless plastic packaging? Maybe it's a pile of old tech in a drawer. Honestly, simply identifying that specific leak is your very first yield. Because once you can actually spot that lost opportunity, well, you've taken the very first step toward closing the loop.
The takeaway here is huge. We absolutely do not have to be trapped in this linear, disposable age. By intentionally keeping energy within our own systems, we can build true, permanent abundance. But that shift, it has to happen right now. So, I want you to really look at the very next thing you're about to throw away. Stop and ask yourself, are you ready to close the loop? Thanks so much for joining this explainer.